Yeah, that's right. Calvin P from the DMV. Mr. Fingers. This week in UGA football. Get ready, baby. Let's go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody is doing well. I'm already looking for my glasses, which means it's going to be one heck of an interesting show. Hope you guys are doing all right, to include those of you in the cheap seats. My camera's also all the way focused on the wrong part of the thing there. There we go. Much better. How's everybody doing tonight? You guys out there, right behind the camera. You guys in front of the stage, you guys up in the balcony, you guys in the cheap seats back in the back. We appreciate each and every one of you for joining us this evening. I am Mr. Fingers, coming to you live from the 405, where the wind comes whipping down the plane. And that guy right there, that guy, he's the brother from another, the sexy mother husband, the ace of base in the place, in your face. He is Calvin P from the DMV. How you doing tonight, baby?
Oh man, I don't know, man. Misery Monday, it is. But hey, you know, like I always say, as long as I wake up and I'm walking vertical, I can't complain too much. You know what I'm saying? But it's yeah. I mean, I don't really know what to say. I mean, like this weekend was fine. I mean, like, as far as like personal, but I mean, you know, had a tough loss on Saturday, and it was another, you know. Aside from that, you know, be that as it may, it was a great weekend of college football. I mean, like, there were some crazy games, some crazy finishes, some, you know, really good games, except for ours. But
Yeah, which we will talk,
you know,
about for sure, man. I'm around here dropping things. I can't find my glasses, cameras all out of place. What in the world is really going on here? Okay, hold on
but
one second.
actually, no, I want to say, you know, the happy anniversary. I mean, you had we had talked about before a little bit off camera, like you had a pretty good weekend.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. The missus and I went out to go see uh, a person that is considered by many a member of a family of comedy royalty, in the person of Mr. Marlon Wayans. And when I tell you, he came out on stage. You know how some comedians come out on stage and they give you their best jokes the first 5 minutes, and then the rest of it, you just kind of got to sit and go, what did he say? Was that funny? I don't even understand what that was he said. Was that supposed to be funny? He came out throwing haymakers, and he threw haymakers the entire set, bro.
Yeah.
My ribs hurt. And his opener, oh, dude, his opener, this dude named DC Irvin, that's ERVIN for those of you checking. DC Irvin came out on the stage and did a solid half hour, and maybe only got into maybe 10 minutes of his material. He was just crowd working, and he was killing them. This lady in the front that was not laughing, and he was making fun of her face, and people around her were crying because it was like, her face do look like that. Her face look like that for real. And dude, he nailed it. And I told him when you know, we did the meet and greet after, and I said, bruh, you killed it. He said, you know, a lot of times I go to a lot of comedy shows, and you go see somebody and their opener, you could tell that's they just helping out their homeboy from the hood to get their little comedy career off the ground, you know, or like a rapper where he got a buddy that's got a mixtape, he'll take him on tour, and folks be like, whatever, let's go get some popcorn.
Right.
Could wait till the main act come out. Said, dude, you came out, you killed it, you did your doggone thing. I hope you blow up, man, and you with the right person to get there. And so yeah, it was really awesome. We had a good time, and that closed out the Fingers family wedding anniversary for 2024. I have no
Uh,
idea
what
what
what what kind of venue was he? Was he? I mean, like, did he have a? I mean, how many people were in the venue? Like, how many people did he
it
bring?
was.
Like,
A spotlight. It was a spotlight DC Improv, about same size.
okay, okay, I get you. I don't know if it was like 2,000 or 20,000. Like,
He's
12.
doing. He is doing larger venues.
Mhm,
And they do have some of those in Oklahoma, but it's a lot of comedians come through. He wanted to do smaller venues in some of the larger towns because he's also working out some material for a new comedy special.
mhm.
So
I did hear that.
I get the feeling that what we saw last night, a bulk of that was going to be in his next special.
And I don't know if you heard, not to get too much off of it, but did you know that they only produced and they only directed scary movies 1 and 2? After 2,
Yes,
I guess the TV folks kind of did them wrong, and
that's
they
why they
just,
left.
yeah, that's why they left. And you can definitely tell. You can definitely tell 3, 4, and 5. They don't have the Wayne's touch. You can definitely tell
They
that.
are not the same. We are
No,
not the
no.
same. It's
They
like your
tried.
boy.
They tried to
It's like your
copy it
boy.
as best they could, and it ain't working.
It's like your boy K Dot said, they not like us. Wop, 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 wop.
Right.
They not like us.
Uh-huh.
It's totally different animal, man.
Yeah.
Oh man. I would love to sit here and chew the fat because this is a lot more pleasant than what we got to talk about. But
Yeah,
let's go
but I
ahead
mean,
and
honestly, we had some concerns, and they were definitely validated this weekend. That is for sure.
but you never lied. We have been saying from probably the second game of the season that we had concerns about the Dogs and how things were going to work themselves
And
out.
Ole Miss,
And we were worried about, like, I think after a couple of games we started looking at the schedule and seeing who we had, who we were going to play, and who we were going to face. And
Mhm.
definitely Bama was number one, Texas was number two, Ole Miss and Tennessee were 3 and 4 respectively.
Right.
And of course Auburn. I'm sorry, not Auburn. Oh my gosh, Alabama. That's funny. That season would have been over right there. I
Yeah.
would have, if I was Kirby, I would have been like, "Look, we just gonna forfeit the rest of our games. We lost to Auburn. We're not even if we beat everybody else by 70 points, we are not going to the championship."
Yeah.
But Alabama went pretty much how we expected. Not quite as crazy as we expected, but it was a close game. It was a tale of two halves. Um, but even in that game, we come out. I mean, but after here's the telltale sign was Kentucky, man.
Right.
We
For sure.
struggled with Kentucky. Now other people have struggled with Kentucky as well, but is that a tell on them or is that a tell on us? You feel me? Because
Well,
Tennessee beat them.
Ole Miss lost to them. So I mean,
Ole Miss lost to them, but Tennessee beat them, and even then, that was a close game. So, at some point, we kind of felt like it was a little justified, but we really struggled with Kentucky, and that worried me. And then we let
yeah.
Mississippi State come back and tighten the score up to 10 points.
And it's crazy. Then
So,
we did what we did against Texas, and they were like, all right, well, maybe not. You know what I mean?
well, that's the thing. We totally dominated Clemson coming out of the gate, and then we found our feet up under us again when it came time to play Texas. And I'm like, all right, we got this thing going. Let's go. And then Florida. I mean, were it not for a couple of key plays, we might have had 2 losses going into Oxford.
Yeah, and Lagway hadn't gone out. I mean, that's a definitely, that's a absolutely, that's a definitely could have happened.
Yeah, and now we got Tennessee around the corner, a one-loss Tennessee who's starting to get a roll going again, and then we got to play Georgia Tech. And I know to some
And
people are like some people are going Georgia Tech, really Georgia Tech. Were you watching football on Saturday early before the Ole Miss game versus Georgia? Were you guys watching? Did you guys watch Georgia Tech dismantle Miami?
hmm And I'm not lying, and I'm not being funny when I say that we could easily finish out the season with 2 more losses.
Seriously, did you? No, I'm being serious. Did you guys not see Georgia Tech dismantle Miami? Georgia Tech well, let's see. Yeah, they went after Miami hard. Now the final score is not as indicative of the game that was.
Right.
I mean, they were after Cam Ward hard. I called him Haynes Ward during the short that I put out, and I apologize for that because I had Haynes King and Cam Ward mixed up. But they were after Cam Ward. They were running him out of pocket and making him make errant throws and things of that nature. And it's just insane. Georgia Tech literally just went in there and knocked Miami upside the head.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so, dude, and so I asked, and now I will let you know full transparency. Colin and I generally don't talk during the game. So if Colin and I are talking and texting, that means that we're having problems. If the game is going good, we're just sitting back and enjoying. We might send each other a message if somebody makes a big play, be like, Frazier,
I didn't
Dan the
have my
man.
hey, I didn't have my sounding board. My boy Weston, he was supposed to come over. Like I called him. He usually comes in fast but late around halftime. Comes in. But didn't hear from him, and I kind of put two and two together. I didn't bother him too much, but I didn't have my sounding board. But I was walking. I was pacing. I was like, I got a vent. I got a vent. I got a vent. Fingers. What are we doing? So I dialed you
And
up.
my phone rings and I see his Colin and I'm like, uh-oh.
I had to get it off my chest, boy.
I mean, dude, I mean, let's look at this right here, man. Carson Beck, 20 of 31 for 186 yards and one interception. Now, the 20 of 31, you get some passes get broken up. One interception, that's the best performance he's had in 6 games as far as interceptions are concerned. But you know why he only threw one interception? Because they wouldn't let him throw the ball downfield.
Yep.
He had two passes. I found the pass chart. I had to look. I had to do a deep dive. I found a pass chart. He had two passes of more than 20 yards. Fortunately, they were both caught. They were both off to
That's
the right.
That was when I was I
Fortunately,
was frustrated about these little dumps here, dump, and they were just doing these little dump offs, and I was like, dude, no,
and here's the messy part about that. Yes, Carson Beck has thrown a bunch of interceptions every game, but it's something about once he started throwing interceptions, it became a thing where he had to find a rhythm, and once he got the rhythm going, because once he got the rhythm going, then we got the rolling, and we
yeah,
were able to open up and run and pass. The first drive, when they came out on the first drive, I
no,
said,
dude,
"Okay, we got nothing to worry about."
yeah,
Dan Jackson got the interception. We get the ball on a short field. We march right into the end zone. I'm like, "Let's go!" You saw it.
yep,
I said the comment in the chat. Let's go. And then for the next 59 minutes, the dogs. I mean, that first drive, Ole Miss's first drive, Jackson Dart couldn't find his way out and find his way to safety. They were
mhm,
everywhere he ran. It was like that old cadence. Everywhere I go, there's a drill sergeant there. And it was for him. It was like everywhere I go, there's a bulldog there. They
yep,
were in his face. They were biting him on the ankles and jumping up on his neck and all kinds of stuff and barking and punching his leg and the whole time. And I'm being facetious, but you get where I'm going with this. They made this guy make mistakes. And then
yep,
on top of that, he got hurt. He was
yeah,
out for a whole series.
yep, yep.
He
And
was
old
out.
boy that came in to replace him just walked right on down the field. So
He was
people were
out
there.
for an entire series, and I said, "Then, all right, we got this thing in control." They're bringing in their true freshman, second or third string backup. We're gonna eat this guy alive. And what
Hmm.
the hell did he do? This kid came in the game and marched them right down the field.
5 of 6 for 64 yards on that one series.
Austin Simmons,
Yep.
5 of 6, marched him right down the field for a touchdown. I said, this is not looking good. I said, you know what? I'm not going to stress it. They haven't seen any film on this kid. They haven't seen any film on this kid. Next drive, we got it under control. Jackson Dart comes running back out on the field. Next thing you
Yep.
know, now
Boom,
it's a
boom,
boat
boom.
race.
Yep.
I
Bro.
mean,
It's
like,
and
but
then
you know
and then
what?
it was
I got,
like
I got a trivia question. I got a trivia question for you. Well, you already know the answer because I sent it in the chat, but I'm going to put this out there. If anybody else knows the
I'm gonna
answer, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this later, I want to see how much you know. The Dogs have been playing football for 132 years. Okay. 132 years of dog football. In the entirety of the history of the program, Carson Beck is only the second quarterback to throw 11
Yeah.
interceptions in a 6-game period.
Right.
There's only one other quarterback that has done that. I know you know the answer because we talked about it over the weekend.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
Well, let's just say he may or may not be our offensive coordinator.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did know that. I did know that. Yep.
Mike Bobo. Mike Bobo.
The last name with 2 letters or the two of the same letter. Bo. Okay. Yeah, that
Right.
was it.
That guy. Our offensive coordinator is the only other person to throw 11 interceptions in a 6-game stretch. And
I've got
now he's
another.
our offensive coordinator. No
I've got
wonder,
another one for you.
no wonder Kirby's so uptight. He been saving Bobo's ass for 20
Yeah,
some odd years.
that's what's crazy that they hired his ass again. But I mean, I don't necessarily defend Bo. I mean, it's kind of hard to defend him at this point. But at the same point, you and I talk about it. You know, we know how he rolls because of past time. I mean, he's been on the coaching staff. But at the same point, I mean, I had kind of, I've voiced this several times. But I'm saying like he looks like he's, some of the play calling, he seems to be getting out of his own way or old way or own way or whatever. Then he comes back and starts doing the same shit he used to do. So I mean, it's just it's frustrating. But to go to the trivia thing, do you know how many this year? You know how many drop passes we have?
I think it's
And
in
we
the
were.
I think it's in the 30s or something like that. But we are
I
currently
don't think so.
I do know that we are currently leading the FBS in
We
dropping
are now.
passes.
We are now. We are
We
now.
are leading Georgia, the team that just 2 years ago won a national championship. Now, granted, this is not the same squad because most of the players are gone. But we had receivers that were way more sure-handed. Of course, you know about Bowers, you know about McConkey.
Our lifelines, evidently, like it's shown to be true that they were our lifeline.
I mean, you got guys that will go out. You got guys that will go out there and make absolutely amazing catches that they shouldn't be making with 2 defenders, with one defender, 2 defenders hanging off of each corner of the face mask, and one biting him on the ankles. But then you throw him a clear-cut, wide-open pass 7 yards downfield. It will hit him in the hands, and he will drop it.
So there was a one time that there was a stat that's shown on the screen. It was
London
actually
Humphreys, I'm
20,
looking at you.
it was
Dylan Bell,
20.
I'm looking at you.
It was 20. It was 26 when we had 25. They threw that graphic on the screen. So I believe we did take the lead to take the drop passes lead. I think it's either 27 or 28. And you know who's second? I believe it's FAMU. I think FAMU is what they said it was a 25.
Dominic Lovett had 2 wide open passes in the flat. Wide open passes, 7, 8, and we're not talking about big yardage because remember, Carson Beck wasn't throwing a lot downfield, but we're talking about passes that easily could have led to first downs.
Absolutely. I mean, we could throw the weather in that situation, but nah, not really. I mean, like I mean, it's first time we played in rain, whatever it may be. But at the same point, I mean, those balls were right in the breadbasket. I mean, like they were right there. So I mean, it's kind of hard to make excuses for that.
I got nothing. And then on top of that, that in itself, we've only been talking about the offense. That in itself would not have been so bad because remember, who has bailed the offense out game in and game out when the offense doesn't show up?
And that's what we talked about.
The defense. Well, guess who didn't show up for Saturday's game? The defense. The defense did not show up. The defense got torched. They got torched on short passes. They got torched on dump passes in the flat. The defense just did not show up. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not done with the offense.
Oh, no. Yeah, I was going to say, hold 1 second before you talk there.
I'm not done with the offense. Have you? Hey, look, man. Wait. Hold on. I got a question for you. Did you go grocery shopping at all this weekend? Did you go to the store or anything to get anything from the grocery store? No. You didn't even go to 7-Eleven to get yourself a tall boy?
Oh, yeah. Well, I did go to 7-Eleven. But go
ahead. They sell milk at the 7-Eleven, right?
Yeah.
Did you happen to see Ernest Green on the milk carton? Because he was freaking missing the whole game.
Yeah, right. I mean, they were bringing the house every play, bro, and they were getting it back every time. They were breathing out his neck every snap.
That very last play, y'all, Ernest Green is left tackle. Ernest Green played left tackle on Saturday. There was one sack, and I don't all sometimes you don't always catch all the action because I don't have that kind of vision where I'm watching the game where I can see everything going on at once. I'm just kind of tracking where the ball is.
Right.
Ernest Green was not Ernest Green. Ernest Green was the left tackle blocking. Whoever that was that made that sack was so wide open. He blew. Ernest Green didn't even touch. But you gotta at least. What you played football, right? What's the number one fundamental? If you're on offense, if coach would tell us, if you don't at least put your hands on the man that you're supposed to be blocking, you have failed your assignment.
Yeah.
And what he used to say, I'm gonna bench you and I'm gonna run you crazy in practice for every missed block. You got to at least put your hands on or put pad on pad with the guy in front of you. This dude just walked by Ernest Green like he was walking. Like, how the apartment complex, like the ones where they got the people at the desk at the front, you walk in, you go, good morning,
Yeah.
and they just walk by the desk. That dude walked by Ernest Green. Ernest Green just let him walk by. Like, he's like, hey, how you doing, Mr. Johnson? You got a package. Come see me when you get done.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we
The
couldn't stop him.
offensive line was horrible. I was kind of encouraged that Tate Ratledge would be playing. He's not ready to be back.
Nah.
It was bad. It was really bad. And it has exposed everything. That game exposed everything me and you have been talking about since the Kentucky game.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Everything.
And even when Beck had a chance to run, I mean, there was one series or one play in particular that he had probably 15 yards of wide open space green. He took off, and then that poor guy can't slide to save his life. So he took it, he dove. And I appreciate
you want to know why he can't slide? He's already slippery with all the face paint he got on.
Yeah. Did he have it on? I didn't even pay attention to look at his face.
He didn't have on as much Saturday as he did the week before.
Yeah.
I watched a guy. I think it was our guy Uncle Lou said. No, it wasn't Uncle Lou this time. It was I forget which one it was. It said the reason he had on so much face paint was because he was going to be an extra in Tropic Thunder after the game.
I said that last week. Remember?
yeah.
Tropic Thunder too.
I mean, dude,
you gotta laugh and cry. You gotta laugh
to keep from crying.
Exactly.
The perfect opportunity. Everybody's doubting you. I mean, there's no excuses anymore.
And you know what? After halftime, bro, I thought we were gonna come out, and I think maybe Kirby's he's a great mastermind at corrections and all that kind of stuff during the halftime. But we were same team. We got the ball back after half, and same deal.
The commentators were saying the same thing. Georgia's a great second half team, which is Georgia's going to come out and they're going to come out, and this is where we will see, something. I forgot exactly what it was that they said. And Georgia came out in the second half and just as flat as in the first half. Yeah. Worse.
And you know what? I mean, I said it in our chat. I think it's due to lack of leadership. Like, honestly, we don't see the leadership we've had in these past teams, the national championship teams, obviously. We don't have a new Kobe team that knows everybody's position, like grabs people and you go over there. We don't have that on defense. And we don't have any visible leaders on offense. Like even Beck, you can't even tell.
Oh my God, dude! As much as people talked about Stetson Bennett and his personality, he was quick to say, "Hey, look over here, you up? Hey, all right," and check the line and all right, run the play. And you always saw every single play on defense. Kobe was calling the signals. He knew everybody's position on the field. There is none of that. It is 22 guys. It is 11 guys on defense, team of me, and 11 guys on offense, team of me. And I'm not trying to disparage anybody that's been balling out all season. Like Dan Jackson has been playing like his hair is on fire all season. He was one of the few bright spots on defense this game.
Jalen Walker, same deal.
Jalen Walker, same deal. But you got to have some leaders on this team. You got to have somebody to pull you to the side and go, "Hey, dummy, I know you like to get some of that brown liquor in you on the weekend, and I know you got that Hellcat. Come on, I'll drive. Hey, dummy, let me know when you. Hey, look, you coming with me? We catching the Uber back. We don't want no mess. We got a good thing we building here. You know,
And, it's kind of hard to defend the whole conversation about culture problem. You know what I'm saying? Not only on the
it's
outside,
getting hard. Well, listen, as long as they kept winning, it would have been swept under the rug. But now, as they begin to lose, it's really going to come more than here. Listen, nothing cures issues with a team like winning, right? Remember the Hurricanes? Remember how crazy they were?
Oh yeah.
And we didn't know how crazy they were until after
Yeah.
the
Well,
dynasty
Rick
died.
went down there. Rick went down there, and he can only last 1 year, 1 year. But he had Bibles in everybody's seats and stuff. And they don't. I mean, not to say you're not religious, enough, but I mean that he didn't know how to approach those guys down. You
Well,
know.
they weren't fresh off the Urban Meyer era. I'm talking about the Urban Meyer era
Oh yeah,
Florida
yeah, I know.
Gators. Those Florida
Yeah,
Gators. You
yeah,
know, the Jimmy Johnson Miami Hurricanes, the Urban Meyer at Ohio State. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like it's just
yeah.
the craziness that went on. Like that's but they were but the thing is, people were willing to look the other way
That
because
just
my
goes to show
favorite
you it's in the locker room
because
too. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
because my favorite team is winning. I mean, I'm pretty sure they had a few rapscallions during those couple of years when they Kobe and them were there,
Yeah,
and they pretty much kept everybody in check. If I'm being real, the only reason that I mean, there's way more reasons why that incident happened, and God rest the souls of those two young people that died,
yeah.
but um those guys, the leaders, kept that kind of stuff in check. I don't know that they were expecting to win the national championship, and so they tied on a little bit more than they should have, and they decided they wanted to race that morning.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm sure somebody was like, "Go out there if you want to. You go deal with the consequences if something happened." And unfortunately, somebody died.
Mhm.
So, uh, and
But that's
actually,
what
that
I'm
was
saying
one.
is like all that
That
stuff
was one of
happened.
our team leaders. Wasn't that our boy Carter?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Wasn't that Jalen?
Not Jalen Carter. It was wasn't it Jordan? It wasn't Jordan. It wasn't Jordan Davis.
No, it wasn't Big Baby.
We got Jalen Walker now. Was that him?
No, it was. I think it was Carter.
Jalen
Because
Carter.
remember
Yeah,
that
yeah,
whole
it was Carter. Yeah.
that Jalen Carter. He was one of the team leaders. So is there a cultural problem at Georgia? You think? I mean, I don't want to blame everything on NIL because all teams are not having this. All the teams in college football are not having this visible slow crumble that the Georgia program is having this year. But
Now
is
that I
it
think
is it
about
a
it,
culture problem?
let me ask you a question. So did we have flashes of this? I know things could be easily swept under the rug, but did we have any flash? I'm trying to wreck my brain trying to figure it. I think there were some kind of flashes of this before we hit the national championship, but not nearly as much as it is now, right? I mean, I can see that wholeheartedly. But I'm saying
Flashes of this. What do you mean, mediocrity or what? What?
no, I'm talking about like culture aspect
I,
questions. You know what I'm saying? Like
if
not
there
necessarily
if there
outside,
well
but like
if there
we still had leaders though. If my memory serves, I mean, like we still had leaders on the field.
I
You know,
don't
like
I
take
don't it,
our
let me
defense
let me
got mad when they got scored on. You know what I'm saying?
let me answer your question and before you
Like, you don't see
I
my
feel
hands on
I
the
I
table. I'm
feel you
like,
I feel you, my brother. I'm wound up too.
I'm
I
wringing
don't
my
think
hands.
I don't think so. I know that they were still going through the first couple of years of rebuilding after Kirby coming in behind Coach Rick.
Yeah,
Um But if there was, I didn't see it. But you had some solid dudes on that squad who I know had to have been leaders in that locker room, like the Michelles and the Chubbs and the DeAndres and that kind of thing, and Zeus and
we had some
probably from
flashes.
from even, you know what I mean? So it was
Mhm.
hard for me to say that. I mean, even the Kobe was there. Let's see, because he graduated 2021. He played again in 2020. He got hurt in 2022, so he would have been a freshman that year. He would have been a red shirt the year they played in the national championship and lost to Alabama. And then he would have been a red shirt. He would have been a red. He would have been a freshman, true freshman that year, and a red shirt the following year.
Yeah,
So he was there. But the point is, my point. I don't think there was a culture issue because Kirby
yeah,
seemed to, at that point, have the team more under. I won't
but he
say
had
under
more
the
help.
iron. I won't say under the iron glove, but Kirby had more control, more ability to reel those guys in. If it's because you didn't really hear about a lot. There was the one kid that got in trouble the year they won the national championship that didn't come back. And then there was Eric Gilbert, who I think came over from
Yeah,
Miami.
right.
But other than that, he didn't really seem to have a whole lot of problems. Well, except for the problem,
Well,
his problem child with the big temper, George Pickens. Who, by the
yeah,
way, shouts out to our guy, Mr. Pickens, who had a big run in the game yesterday, the Steelers game. Nice big reception. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I don't think so. I definitely think there's a cultural problem there now.
yeah. No, I
And
agree with that. Totally.
in today's society, in that environment, winning does tend to breed that. If you are not, I know Kirby, I gotta give him his props in that he doesn't put a lot of the dirt that goes on in the locker room out for the general public, because the general public doesn't necessarily need to know everything. But I also get the feeling that he's kind of. I think Kirby's problem is Kirby is a coach that came up during the old school, during the last vestiges of the old school, that's
Mm,
having to deal with these new school kids. And
mm.
he's caught in a scenario where he's trying to adapt because it's changing so fast,
And then
especially once they started getting money over the top of the table as opposed to under the table.
and that was Saban's deal. I mean, I'm not going to say he. I mean, it's kind of a reason or kind of a thing where he's hit the ceiling. He's done all he can do. I mean, granted, he would love one more win, but I think that's why he actually left. And he did say that the game's not the same anymore. Like he about the recruiting.
Not just Saban. It made Krzyzewski decide that he was retiring from basketball.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just saying that that's what Kirby has to deal with. And and to be honest, I'm saying that how tired has he probably got to be for dealing with the outside stuff? Which I mean, let's be honest, the coach can only do so much, right? I mean, the kids if
Uh-huh.
they go out, if they get set out to the real world, he can say what he wants to say, but they're gonna do what they're gonna do. And then but you need to have consequences. They're scared to do that, but I mean, he's kind of a catch-22 in my opinion. I'm not giving him any kind of like, out or anything like that. He's responsible, but I mean, like, you know, I don't know. I think it's leadership, and I think it's complacency. I think all the things he preaches about, not letting the team get complacent and they're always working. And maybe they're doing that, but it's not showing that they are. But I'm saying,
What Well, you're also not dealing with a bunch of kids anymore. These guys aren't kids. They're millionaires.
well, that's
They're
true.
riding around campus in Lamborghinis and dating hot TikTok
That
models.
they bought for them. So,
Well, they didn't buy them for them. The collective did. The
well, I
collective that
know.
paid them the
Well, I
NIL
mean,
money.
it's yeah, but I mean, it's essentially go to the university. I mean, go here, whatever, whatever. I
Right.
understand what you mean. I understand what you mean.
Like, it doesn't, like, you know what I mean? What can you tell a 19-year-old kid that makes enough money to buy a car that costs six figures?
But that was my problem with watching the NFL. I mean, I say that was my whole deal about why college is my favorite as opposed to NFL. Because I mean, these college kids are working to get to that next level. These NFL guys are making more money than the coach. Say what I'll do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, not saying that happens everywhere, but I'm sure it does.
Yeah. It's
But anyway,
just
I'm not saying this happens. But
it's amazing, and it's very frustrating. So, I mean, and at the end of the day, man, dude, the Dogs couldn't even. They had that one last drive where the one last drive where they could have potentially scored, and the defense step up. And what does it say about your abilities as a team? Think about this. We've said this a couple of seasons ago. Trust the process. Remember, the
mm-hmm,
fans were up in arms and trust. I said trust the process.
mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take a step back and say and have a trust the process moment. If the coach, if the people are going, why is Carson Beck still playing when you have Gunner and you have Dylan? And why are there
And
guys on the bench when you have this person, you have this person? Why are those folks that are out there making all these mistakes on game day still playing? If you believe that the coaches have done their due diligence and they have evaluated these players and they've looked at them, then what that says is, with the history this program has had over the last couple of years, well, at least prior to this year, is that the coaches have looked at everybody that they have and they have determined that what they have on the field gives the Dogs the best chance to win,
And on that note,
which is
Kirby
scary.
was asked that question. Kirby was asked that question. What about what? And has he ever thought about replacing Beck? He said no. He said Beck gives us the best chance to win. Verbatim, what you said. Beck gives us the best chance to win. So,
So then why do you still have the other two guys on the roster?
well, I mean, you got to have backups, I guess. But I'm
Yeah,
saying,
I
like,
mean, you gotta have
you throw him
you
in
gotta
there.
have yeah, you gotta have backups. But hell, you could throw a rock and hit a 4-star, 5-star now. As many
Yeah.
kids as there are playing football, go get some more. Dylan Rayola, was it Dylan? Dylan Dallin, what's that boy's name? Not Dylan Rayola. Dylan Rayola is still at Nebraska.
Yeah.
Jalen Rashada, the hot shot at Florida,
Mm-hmm.
who didn't get his money. He was at Arizona State, I think he was, and now he's
Mm-hmm.
at Georgia. So if he really was that much of a good
That's
player, he'd
funny.
still be. Don't you think he'd still be at Arizona State?
Yeah.
We don't know what we don't know about is Gunnar Stockton because we haven't seen him. Now Gunnar could actually be better than Carson.
Well, that's the thing. Gunner will have the wheels, right? So I mean, it'll be and we haven't seen his arm because he hasn't played.
Okay, and let's go ahead and address that. How many? I want you to tell me with your whole chest how many running quarterbacks that have been at Georgia since Kirby Smart became the head coach has been given the opportunity to start.
One.
One.
Who's another running quarterback to start?
Oh, that was a fluke. Stetson was a fluke because Jake Fromm was gone and JT Daniels got hurt.
Got hurt, right?
So that was a fluke. So you
So
tell
you're saying
me,
we had none.
tell me what running quarterback that was at Georgia got the opportunity to be the starting quarterback and actually started. Zero since Kirby's been there. We had one there. He left and went to Ohio State, and now he's either the starter or the backup at Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I got you. I agree with that. But
I'm not dogging Kirby. I'm just saying statement of fact. We have not had a dual threat Kirby. Stetson Bennett is the only dual threat closest thing to a dual threat quarterback Georgia has had since Kirby's been there. Jake Fromm ran like yeah, you remember that one episode where somebody came up with some kind of something to depower the Fantastic Four? And Ben Grimm started to transform from the Thing back to Ben Grimm, and the last part of his body to transform is his feet. Jake Fromm runs like he had Ben Grimm Thing feet.
Yeah.
Seriously, every time he ran, it was like you'd see him, he'd be like, "Yo, he just scrambled," and they'd be like, "And the Dogs managed to take 2.5 minutes off the clock with that play." Jake took him that long to run from the line of scrimmage 5 yards downfield.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but I mean, you're right on that, but that's not
slow.
We didn't need one, bro. I mean, to be honest with you, we didn't. We had running back. We still got a running back room.
Well, exactly, but we don't. But they're not producing. Nate Frazier's a freshman. Branson Robinson just might as well go ahead and apply for SSDI, the Social Security Disability, because that boy has stayed hurt. It's just Branson, go into bodybuilding and maybe try to get yourself a career in Hollywood as a big muscle dude. Maybe join the WWE or something. My friend, you looked like you were absolute beast and could have been, but we have not seen it yet. And so you scored a couple touchdowns, great. Go somewhere and play body double for if they need somebody as a body double so they can do AI for Debo, you that guy. I got about $200.
Oh, that was hilarious. I said, so we got about $200, huh, Debo? I got $200. But yeah, I mean, Deshaun's question there, hey, maybe. But bro, I don't know. We got a bench full of them. Like, well, I mean, like,
maybe. And but
but
see,
to your
here's
point,
but
though,
here,
Fingers. I mean, I'll
Mr.
say this:
Spencer,
that maybe
thank you for Mr.
are
Spencer,
they
thank you
getting
for.
time?
Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was saying, like, to your point, though, we've got a lot of quarterbacks in the room. But I mean, how much time are they getting on the field, or how many snaps? Be it like practice snaps or whatever, being twos, threes, or
Yeah,
fours. What are they doing?
yeah. And then what? And then watch this. What happens? What happens if Pavia gets that extra year and Kirby snaps him up? What happens to Gunner? What happens to Jaden? And they
Same
might
thing
be
happened to
decent
Vanderbilt.
quarterbacks, and they go someplace else like Justin did, and they ball out
Mhm.
in the arena where we have seen quarterbacks leave us and go to other schools and ball out and get drafted highly. Worse yet, what if they leave and go to another SEC school?
Yeah, which will most likely happen. I mean, like, look at these SEC teams. I mean, like,
I mean, Oklahoma's going to need a quarterback next year because ain't no way Jackson Arnold's staying down there with Brent
mhm.
Venables. Quinn Ewers is leaving, but Arch Manning is behind him. But
Isn't this last
uh,
Darts last year, or has he got one more?
this might be Jackson Dart's last year, maybe. So he could maybe go to Ole Miss. But I mean, you see what that kid did on Saturday. I don't think
Oh yeah, I don't think
Pavia's
that's
going to
me.
get. I mean, he might because he's battle tested and he's a heck of a motivator.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is what it is, man. It's just it's frustrating to see. It's frustrating to see, but we gotta keep moving, y'all. Appreciate those of you that are tuning in. I see you in the comments there, Mr. Spencer. I was gonna trying to give you a little bit of a shout out there. One and a half of the founding duo that became Let's Talk Football and the Let's Talk Football family of shows. We're gonna take a quick break and then we'll be right back. Get your catch your breath, Colin. We'll be right back. Hi, gang. We're back. Appreciate you hanging around to watch this week's episode of uh Anthony and Colin talk dog fans off the ledge. As Lord knows, people have tried to hold their peace on Bobo, and they did as long as we were winning, but they still said, "Man, we got to change such and such." And in the wake of this loss, people are absolutely losing their minds.
Oh yeah,
They better be careful for Kirby come out and give one of them Mike Gundy style press conferences.
right.
Did you see that, man?
Which one was that? Was that the I'm 40 thing?
No, Gundy is the coach down in Oklahoma, up here at Oklahoma State, and he
Oh,
said that
okay.
people, people that with too much free time on their hands are sitting around complaining about things, but they're not in a very good position in life, and they can't afford to pay their bills, and they become subject matter experts and will tell other people how they can do their jobs. Now I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he said, and
He's not wrong.
people have been calling for his head ever since. I mean, people in high up positions at other schools in athletic and high up positions in athletics and other schools are being like, "Yo, y'all need to get rid of this dude for real."
All
Who look
right.
like they're basically going, "Who man's is this?"
Hey, he's not wrong though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at all the couch coaches you got out there. And it is just supposed to be quote unquote criticizing.
Yeah, but we got to keep moving. So now we need to talk playoff picture. I didn't even listen. I'm going to tell y'all something. Rev sent me a note that said, "Dear nephew, my mama always taught me if I ain't got nothing nice to say, then I best not say it at all. So I'm just gonna take a week and I'm gonna wish y'all good luck with the guys at Tennessee. In the great bulldog spirit in the sky, we gonna go have a retreat at the place where that boy Rogers was out with the ayahuasca, and we gonna hope that we can still preach a sermon on Sunday. Go Dogs. That's all he had. So that basically what Rev said. Rev didn't even want to do a segment. He was like, yeah, I ain't got no time for this. Them boys trash this week. But realistically speaking, I think we've asked the question before, or someone has asked us the question before, or maybe somebody else has asked the question on another show. Um, is this team a playoff team? Is Georgia a legit playoff team? After they beat Texas, after they beat Clemson 34-3, after they beat Texas the way they did, after they battled back against Alabama, I was willing to say yes. Right now, no, no. And as is, while that is a quote unquote good loss because Ole Miss is definitely going to pop up in the rankings after that win, um, there's a possibility we could miss the playoffs, let alone the
Yeah.
SEC, let alone the conference championship, because the setup right now for the conference championship, you got Tennessee Tennessee, A&M, and Texas all with one loss.
We're not playing the
Now,
county championship. That ain't
now
happening.
hold on. Let me break this down for you. We beat Texas. So if Texas were to lose again, we still hold a tiebreaker.
On them, yeah.
If Texas loses this, say A&M, because that's the only game left on their schedule, they could potentially lose, assuming that A&M has not curled up into a fetal position and completely quit altogether after losing to South Carolina last week, and they're on a bye this week. But the remaining games, Tennessee, Texas, Texas A&M, and Texas at one loss each in the conference. Then you got Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, Missouri, LSU with 2 losses. Missouri's not getting in. LSU's probably not getting in at this point. Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia all still have a shot at getting in, but some things have got to happen. And then even then, if it comes down to everybody having 2 losses, Georgia will have lost to Alabama and to Ole Miss. So they're
Yep.
not going to get in ahead of Ole Miss as far as the 12-team playoff is concerned. So what happens at that point? But what's left on the schedule? The Longhorns have
Yeah.
they got Kentucky and A&M left, I believe it is, and Arkansas. Who played Arkansas this past weekend? Who was that to beat Arkansas?
That
Was that
was
Texas?
oh shoot, who was it? It was somebody that beat the crap out of him. It was no, I can't remember. My brain is fried.
Let me pull it up, my friend.
I'm pulling it up myself.
I got it right here. That's what these newfangled computers are here for. They lost to Ole Miss. Ole Miss hung a 60
Yeah,
burger on them. Okay.
right. That was
So
last week.
Texas has Arkansas, Kentucky, and A&M remaining. They beat the pants off of Florida. They got a bye week. They got Arkansas, Kentucky, and A&M remaining. Only game I see they could lose out of that is A&M, and even then,
Right.
that's shaky after the South Carolina game. A&M has New Mexico State, Auburn, and Texas remaining. Only game I can see them losing out of that one is Texas. So that one could go either way. And this is just based off records. It's not based off of uh like I
Quality
haven't looked
win.
at the
Yeah.
stats and quality wins and all that stuff.
I
That
got you.
game could potentially go either way. We have left Tennessee next week, which at this point I'm not even inclined to say we're going to win.
No, I'm right there with you. I mean, I'm thinking that's a L. I mean, I was going to
I,
say, I was going to look at this and they got us picked by 10. That's definitely going to go down. I mean, it
oh
should.
man, that'll be down to between, mark my words, that'll be down between 2 and 4 by
I
Saturday.
told my pops, I was on the phone before we went live here. I told him it's going to be either 3 or 2.5. What I told him.
We got Tennessee this coming weekend. We got UMass after that, and then we've got Georgia Tech. And to be completely honest, after watching Georgia Tech, that could be a 4th loss.
Yep. And don't forget,
Could you
that's on Good Friday and it's in Mercedes Benz. So it ain't even at home and ain't even in Atlanta. So, I mean, well, it's in Atlanta, but it's,
right?
at Mercedes. So,
Tennessee has us this coming weekend, UTEP and Vandy. The only game in there I see realistically right now, as I see it, that Tennessee could lose is Vandy.
what's that?
I don't see us being a challenge for Tennessee.
No, I don't either. Where's that game at with Tennessee and Vandy? Is it in Knoxville or Nashville?
The Tennessee game is at home. Nope, the Tennessee game is Yeah, Tennessee is a home game and Tech is a neutral site. So the next two games are at home.
No, I'm talking about Vandy. Vandy in Tennessee.
Tennessee's game against Vandy.
Yeah.
I believe that's in Knoxville. I'm pulling it up right now. And survey says, okay, that's not their schedule. Show me their schedule. What the heck?
It's at Vandy. It's at Vandy.
They're playing at Vandy. So Vandy
Yeah.
might need another set of well, no, they'll just wash it off and put it back like they did last time. Just pluck it out of the river and wash it off and put it back. So that's who they have left. And then
Well, they could
LSU.
potentially lose to Vandy. So I mean, that's a toss up.
Yeah, I mean, I seriously think that's going to be a good matchup worth watching. And then, of course, you've got LSU left. Now, remember when we had this discussion before, the teams that all had serious contention into getting into the conference championship and even 12 team playoff was
Right.
Vandy, Texas, A&M, Georgia, Tennessee, and LSU. Now, LSU more than likely eliminated as a 3-loss team. They've only got 2 losses in the conference, but they're a 3-loss team. And there's enough 2-loss and 1-loss teams left out of the top 25 that they'll probably get in over LSU. But LSU has Florida, Vandy, and OU left. I see probably Florida and OU being winnable and Vandy being impossible, like a game of spades.
Yeah, I agree.
So at this point, hey, Vandy, shouts out, bro. Big come up, big come up. The people are looking at you on the schedule and going, oh, they might actually win. They might actually pull that joint off.
Hey,
So
I'm a fan. They got me pulled up as being a fan. I mean, I want them to beat Tennessee, not just because that'll help us, but hey, keep it rolling.
yeah, I and this game here against Miami, I'm mind blown. Georgia Tech, this Georgia Tech Miami game right here. This Georgia Tech Miami game right here. Where's the box score? Tech was just consistent all the way across the board. They just kept knocking Miami in the mouth, and every time Miami would get close, they get a crucial stop. I know this is an SEC football, but it's interstate football. It's a game regarding one of our interstate rivals that we're going to play in a few weeks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Tech is really starting to look better than their record historically would indicate. And so is Vanderbilt.
Yeah, they're not last year's Georgia Tech, that's for sure.
Now, last year's Georgia Tech won 6 games too, or maybe 5. I mean,
Oh,
you got a 1600 yard passer. You got a rusher that's run for over 700 yards, which is pretty good with 3 or 4 games left to go. You got a receiver with 622 yards with a couple games left to go. Like I know people go 681, like uh like uh
yeah,
like your boy Soldier Boy did on the Breakfast Club. 681,
it's 81.
681. But that's still good. Everybody can't be your boy Genty out at Boise State. But still 681 is really good. That's potential to be at least at or above 800.
Yeah.
Leading receivers at 622. Their leading tackler has 58 yards. They don't have a lot of interceptions on the board, but Tech is looking like the real deal. And
Yeah, I
they
mean,
are.
even still, Cam Ward had 348 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, he
Yeah,
didn't
it's
necessarily stop.
not saying much about their defense, but their offense can definitely put up those numbers. And
Yeah,
what that game showed me Saturday is that Tech's defense can show up when it needs to show up and do what it needs to do, which they 100% did. They now also ding 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 Georgia Tech. We go ahead and hit the horn for them because Georgia Tech is now also with that win bowl eligible.
yes, sir.
So that's where we are. I mean, there's some other games of not major consequence within the conference with Alabama. Mercer's coming to Alabama. Mercer, everybody lines them up for a punching bag. But okay,
Yeah,
enough talk about that. So we know there's probably a 90 or better percent chance we're not going to the conference championship. So realistically speaking, do you think we even sniff the 12-team playoff? And
um,
if so, I already have my answer set. But if so, what do you think needs to happen in order for them to get there?
I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. I'm honest with you. I'm usually kind of like a cautiously optimistic type of guy, but I mean, I'm ready to chalk up an L. I mean, I'm a fan still. I love my dogs to death. I mean, if
Uh-huh.
we pull one out, that'd be great. I mean, but at this point, if we do win, I mean, it would take a miracle. And I mean, like I don't see it, even though it's at home. I mean, I'm hoping that these guys like kind of this loss lights a fire under them, and they prove me wrong. But at this point, I don't. I mean, like I said, I have a feeling that we were gonna. I mean, I don't like this feeling at all. But I'll be honest. I think we're gonna finish out the season with 2 losses. I
Yeah.
don't think we're going to sniff the SEC
Yeah,
championship.
pressure.
We're not going to be there, and we're not going to make it. And that's funny, dude. Because I mean, a 12-team playoff. I mean, that should help. That should have helped helped us. I mean, we
You,
can
you
make a 14, but we can't make a 12-team. I'm like, come on, dog. I mean,
you
really?
mean to tell me we gonna do like the Colts coach and be like playoffs,
No, I
playoffs?
mean,
I just
playoff.
hope we can win a game. Playoffs.
That's
Don't
what I
talk to
feel
me
like.
about playoffs.
I mean, hey, I've never felt when I have. Not really. Not to
All
this
right.
caliber, dude. I ain't never felt like this.
Yeah. Well,
I
I
mean, it's a
mean,
game, but still, I hate it.
yes,
And
it
it's not
is. It
because we've
is.
been back-to-back championship. I mean, that's not the reason. I'm not like
It's
a dude that
just.
think we need that.
It is just this. It is that
Frustrating.
Georgia has been. I'm not gonna lie. Georgia's been spoiled. We've either had a stud running back, we've either had stud running backs in the backfield, or we've had these amazing quarterbacks like Aaron Murray, you know what I mean? And things of that nature. And the defense has to, and Sean is right in my head. It comes down to defense. I mean,
Well, I better shave it up more than they did this weekend.
yeah, and we got and our O line is worse than wet Swiss cheese, man.
Yeah.
You ever take a piece of Swiss
All
cheese? You ever take a piece of Swiss cheese and soak it in some warm water and you see how it fall apart?
I see. No, no, I haven't. What an analogy, dude.
Yeah, our offensive line is worse than wet Swiss cheese. It's already got holes in it. Now it's got wet.
Just sliding everywhere.
It's like,
Stop it.
oops,
Stop
sorry,
it.
that's my cleat. Can I get that back, please? Seriously, Ernest Green, check in, brother. We miss you. I don't know. Maybe we got hit with the invasion of the body snatchers on Friday night, and his real body is probably somewhere in a pod in the basement of the hotel they were staying in Oxford. Because Ernest Green could.
I told Pops, I
Ernest,
said, you know
Ernest,
what?
Ernest, Ernest Green couldn't block nobody if he had a full set of them Tonka building blocks. For real, for real. That bad.
Remember when they said that Kirby went into locker room and talked to the pastor, and the pastor said, he said like I'm gonna go in here and rip these guys a new one. He said, well, coach, why don't you try this? And then it seemed to work. I think it was a South Carolina game, whatever. I told
Uh-huh.
Daddy, I said, I think Kirby needs to go up to the pastor and say, Father, I'm about to sin, and go in there and just lay lumber to all of them, tell them what they about. Because
Let
I
me
think that's
find
what they need. I mean,
let me find out the pastor told him to pull the Otis Redding and try a little tenderness. You gotta.
he did.
Uh,
Like he did. He's like, why you cuss so much? Like, I mean, that was a conversation between them.
well, you know what? It worked in that Florida game last year, didn't it? Year before last. He went in that locker room, lit them up, and they came out and scored 182 points on Florida. Just as there's so many of them. Why are they tackling me over and over again?
Something's got to change, brother. And I don't. Hey,
I, I'm being, I, I'm
I'd
being,
be happy if we win, but I ain't counting on it. Let's just put it that way.
I'm being very realistic. I could see this being a 10-point game. I could see us losing another 10-point game this coming
Yep.
Saturday
Double
very
digits.
easily.
Absolutely. Yep.
If the team that played in Oxford, Mississippi this past Saturday, less than 48 hours ago, I think the game ended less than 48 hours ago. It's still early because it's dark. It's been more than 48 hours. The team that played in that game less than 48 hours ago comes out and plays like that, we are losing that game.
Hey, fun
I
fact. Fun
think
fact.
I go ahead.
Fun fact. All them people that rushed the field early, and all the people that rushed the field late or after, whatever, they got fined a cool 350,000 for the first time and cool 350,000 for the second time. So they got a cool 700 large they got to pay, which is not a big deal, but I thought it was funny.
Well, that ain't nothing. Ole Miss got that. Especially with the revenue, the ad revenue they're getting ready to get
There's a whole
from
lot of mustard.
minute from minute. Get your
Right.
popcorn ready. They
Right.
could buy mustard. They could buy mustard shields and popcorn poppers. Um, Speaking of that, there was an incident where what's the young man's name, the Georgia player?
Who? Jake Pope?
The one that was on the field and he ran into some of his
No, it's Jake Pope. Yeah, Jake Pope. He actually came from Alabama. Like he transferred from Alabama.
so he ran into some of his friends on field
The defensive line.
and they
No, DB,
decided
sorry.
to
DB.
dance a little. They decided to dance a little ditty. I don't know on in the middle of the field together. The TikTok dance. I have no idea what. And everybody's all up in arms about it. This I'm going to address that in a second. But this is a classic example of what happens when your program starts to lose. Everything you do, people will point at and say, "This is why you are not succeeding. This is why you are not as excellent as you should be, because you're losing and you're losing badly." I didn't actually watch the video.
I got it. I got everything about that. If you want to, let me.
Yeah, you sent it in the thing. I just hadn't. I got home and got to running and didn't get to look at it yet.
But I mean,
The
it was. They asked Kirby on the press conference, and said, "Well, blah 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 blah." Do that. He said, and he basically he don't pull no punches. He said, "What an idiot." He's like, that's just stupid. But actually, to be honest, it was something innocent. Like he actually went to X and actually said it. Like the way he was jumping up and down, he played with the guy the Ole Miss player at Buford. Like he played high school with him, and then also his family. The family they surprised them, I guess, being at the game, and his family or whatever, his good friend, he was good friends with the guy's family, had been traveling to watch him. So it was like they surprised him, and that's what it was. He was happy to see them. But today's media and all the world like that, it don't matter.
exactly.
You can't do it in front of like court of public opinion. You
Well,
you
that's it.
danced
Yeah,
because you lost, and then you got a camera around. So I mean, these people are gonna take they're gonna put the camera on you. They're gonna say whatever they want, and then find out the
yeah,
reason after.
yeah. And even when
So,
even when that comes out, they're gonna be like, "That's not it. You just have you lost whatever." Just
and the
listen.
same thing with Beck. They called
Like I
Beck
said,
smiling and laughing on the bench when we were down like 30-10 or something like that. And somebody had a good point. He was right by Jalen Walker, and he was like, you know what, what it was Jalen Walker was trying to pump him up because Beck's got it. I mean, it was they called him at a certain time where he was just trying to make him not feel bad. So I mean, that nobody
right,
cares about that. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
that's how it's going to be portrayed.
Well, that's my point is that it's not a good look. You can't. They play. Listen, they play. These guys are making money, not as much as the pros, but these kids are now starting to make money playing a game that they enjoy very much. And it is taken very seriously by the people that buy the tickets and the jerseys and everything. And in the court of public opinion sometimes can be a motherfucker, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I said that's 3 weeks in a row I have dropped the F bomb. I have got to I've been lip reading Kirby Smart too much. The court of public opinion can be pretty rough. You understand? And
And
yeah,
I said, these are kids. These are kids. I mean, like Kirby said, what an idiot. That kid's not thinking about that. He's just happy to see those people. But at the same point, you know, you got to watch them cameras, bro.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. Yes, they have to be careful for the cameras, but the keyboard warriors sometimes listen. I'm gonna drop this one. Ain't no F bomb, but I'm gonna say this one. The keyboard reporters need to shut the hell up. The keyboard warriors, they need to shut the hell up.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
they know too much, they know too little, they know everything, they know nothing. Everybody's talking about crap that don't. That's just like the thing popped out and said that Vanderbilt was putting up Texas was putting up the nets to keep people from
Yeah,
throwing stuff on the field, or
yeah.
Vanderbilt was putting up nets to keep people from throwing stuff on the field when Texas came to town, and
That wouldn't
blah
have been a
blah
bad
blah.
idea, but yeah, it was
Just
food.
starting stuff. Just shut up. Stop going on the internet. And even if you didn't think there was anything wrong with it, stop posting stuff and posting opinions just to stir stuff up and get people started. Because on the internet, everybody is. You know how many times I have gotten ready to put something on the internet and said, a voice in my head said, this is not gonna change their mind, and it's not gonna make your situation any better. Just
Oh,
keep
that's
it
really
moving and
good.
pass on by.
If you're able to listen to that second guy, that second guy's a smart dude. You know what I mean? If you're able to listen to him, he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
That's like the guys that the fans from Texas after whenever they did what they did to Florida, they started drawing at Georgia. I'm like, dude, how you gonna talk trash to a team that already beat you, and then say something what you did about a team that they also beat, but you beat them by more points? I mean, that don't make no sense.
Yeah. So,
But
man,
we
I
got
don't.
really nothing to talk about. We ain't playing too well, so we ain't got no much trash talking ability, right now. So keep my
Well,
mouth.
well, I try not to talk too much trash. The only time I ever really get into trash talk is when somebody okay, like when Georgia won the national championships, and somebody said, and especially if I'm live and I'm with like Alex or
Oh yeah,
or Foobs or somebody like that, and I just say, well, seems to me some team from somewhere won a national championship.
right.
I have no idea what team that is.
Who that be?
Who that be? But we don't have that now, and it's like, you know what? I'm gonna say this. I got to give a shout out to somebody special. This is somebody that we have that has been a part of the Let's Talk Football family, and we all know and love this person greatly. I just want to send a shout out to the homie Janae Stroller. Janae, I sincerely hope. I'm looking at this back here that just made me think about trash talk. I sincerely hope that Janae get to a point that one day the Cowboys will win the championship, so Janae will have that muscle to be able to back up that trash talk. Because I trust me, I know exactly how Sean Spencer feels right now, being able to walk around with his chest popped out,
Mm-hmm.
wearing his maroon and gold, just walking through 7-Eleven, just whistling that to himself, just walking around. People start like, "Oh man, you command this family." Like, yeah, and what?
And what?
Scary Terry, baby. Let's go.
You got a problem with
JD5,
Dick?
let's go. So it's but yeah, I try not to trash talk unless somebody comes at me first. And generally speaking, I just have to hang my head and go, yeah, you're right. But I mean, the Dirty Birds are doing good this year. Hey, did you catch the trifecta? There was a trifecta this weekend.
What was that?
Burgundy and gold. Um, so the previous week, Savannah State won, Atlanta won, and Georgia won.
Atlanta
This
lost again. Go
this
ahead.
past weekend, SSU lost,
Oh.
Georgia lost, and Atlanta lost.
See, that was Atlanta I was used to. That game right there, that's what we almost did last weekend. The weekend, I guess we won against who did we play? I can't remember, but we won.
I'm
But
not sure.
we
Wait,
tried
did
to
I
do this
wait,
one.
Sean, did I get the colors wrong? Did I say purple and gold or something like that? I may have said that.
You said burger. Burger. I thought you said burger. I don't know what you said.
I don't know. I don't know what colors I said. I got all kinds of stuff stuck in my mind. I've been talking with people about
Or
fraternities all
maroon. I
day.
think maybe you said maroon and maybe burgundy.
Did I say maroon and gold? My bad. Oh, that's another team from another state that's not doing too terribly well right now. That's doesn't have any money to pay the buyout for Mike Norvell because they're busy suing everybody from last season. My bad, Sean. I didn't mean to do that.
Aren't they keeping him?
I don't know what's going on, man. I don't
They
know
find
what team.
anybody else?
I don't know what team that is, but man, my elbow hurt. You see that? My elbow do like that. You hear drums? Okay, I'm.
Hey,
You see what I did there. You see how I called it without calling it. You hear drums? My elbow is
it's something to do with
maroon and
shoes.
gold. It's
With
shoes or
shoes, right?
something.
Something like free shoes or something. Something like that. What is it?
Those guys, yeah, the place where you go, you get shoes, and you don't have to pay for them from that school. Anyway,
Novell got fired. I thought
what?
that they fired everybody else but him.
I thought they fired everybody else but him. Did he get fired today, like in the last 10 minutes? When did he get fired? Hold on.
Breaking
We
news.
got do we have breaking news going on right now?
What'd you say? They were fired.
Oh no, he fired both his coordinators.
Yeah. He didn't do it. Did he fire him or?
Unless he well, Florida State, it says Mike Norvell fires coordinators. Um,
Yeah, cut off his arms and legs despite his face. That's what you said.
right.
That was pretty good. I like that.
Pretty much. Man, oh
So yeah.
man.
All right, my man. Well, yeah, that this was definitely Misery Monday, but I got everything out I needed to get. But I definitely I needed to call you, and I hope you. I'm glad you picked up because I'd have been screaming at somebody outside. I've been walking out the front.
You'd be
Hey, come
missing
here.
a
Let me holler
TV.
at you.
You would be missing a TV right now, is what you would be if I hadn't answered the phone. You'd be buying a
Nah,
new one. Like, hey man,
man,
I'd be
TV
like, what
costs too
happened to
much.
the other one?
No, I ain't gonna do that. I'm not gonna do property damage. That costs too much. I ain't spending the money on TV.
Well, you could buy one on Afterpay and pay for it in 4 payments. You buy it on Amazon and pay for it with Afterpay. It's like
No, I'm just paying that thing for like with like a 29% APR on that thing. You're paying
hey,
in the
look,
airport.
hey, look. The way money is for people these days, that sometimes you just got to take that chance with that 29%. Because, hey, I'm gonna tell you, this very desk that I am doing my podcast on was about $300 or something like that. And when I tell you that $82.50 hit
Lay away.
a month hit a hell of a lot better than 350 all at one time.
I ain't
Huh,
got that.
man, talk to me.
You remember about rent a center when people they show up and they
Oh
take people's
God.
stuff? They come in and just grab their couch, the whole living room, they just put it back in the truck and that's coming
Bruh,
back
they
to work.
coming. They send a repro trucks for furniture and appliances. Quit with me.
And they don't take long to get that thing at your house either. And they don't care
Nah,
how
they
to get
don't.
it out either.
They get that thing like the repo truck. They will go and get with a court order to your landlord, get the keys to the apartment, and have your whole apartment cleaned out like a NASCAR pit crew by the time you get home.
And saying, yeah, I seen videos like that. What you doing? You
Yeah,
taking my stove? Well, you didn't pay for it. I'm cooking
yeah.
dinner.
You gonna take the stove right now? I'm making ceviche. I gotta simmer it for 25 minutes. Can you come back at like 3:35? Nah, man, you gonna try and
Like,
hide
well,
it somewhere. Food, where I'm gonna hide the oven? Are you think about that for a minute?
put that in the microwave. Finish it up in the microwave because
Just
well,
live
we
with
gotta
me.
take that too. We gotta take your microwave too.
Yeah. So anyway, that I think that's
Yep.
gonna do it for us today because I really don't have a prediction for Saturday. But you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and give a prediction anyway. I'm gonna say, oh, Dogs 18, Tennessee 32. And I rarely pick against the Dogs. Since we've been doing this show, I don't think I've ever picked against the Dogs except maybe when we play Alabama. And even then I just say I think Alabama wins. I don't know how much it's going to be because most times our games with Alabama tend to be close.
Yeah, sometimes, but yeah, I mean,
I think matter of fact, I think the only game between us and Alabama that was more than a score was the national championship.
yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, I agree with your score too. I mean, like I don't like picking against the dog, but I mean, like really, I think we're gonna lose by at least 2 scores. I mean, like it definitely double digits, but
And you heard it from us. You heard it from us, and we don't like to pick against our team, but all we can do is pick and come up with our decision based against what we saw the previous week and what we have seen collectively over the season.
hey,
And
and I hope I'm wrong.
these are what we are saying right now is a collective of everything that we have identified as a problem and said if this doesn't get fixed, X will happen. If this doesn't get fixed, Y will happen. If this doesn't get fixed, Y equals MX plus B, which I think is a formula for slope on a graph. But I don't know why I remembered that out of nowhere. But the
You
point that
know
I'm
me
trying
and
to make
Georgia math. Don't confuse me. Don't confuse me anymore. Than
both of them.
yeah,
My
both of
point
them.
is my point is that we have looked at everything that we have looked at this season. We have seen the same games that you have seen. We identified some things that could be problematic, and just about every single one of them came to fruition. The only one that we could not see coming was the thing with Carson Beck and the interceptions. And it seems like since that has become an issue, other things are starting to become unraveled. It's almost like picking at a thread on your sweater and you pick at it, pick at it, pick at it, and you finally get it to where you go and pull it. And now instead of just a loose thread, you got a giant hole in the elbow of your seersucker suit. So don't ask me why I said seersucker suit. I have no idea. Anyway, That's it, man. That's all I got. Unless you got anything else, I don't even have any final thoughts, man.
I
I
don't even
got
my
none.
final thoughts, and just make me wrong, and let's get lucky this weekend and
Yeah,
back
it's
into the playoffs. But I'll be happy, but I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic. But that's my cautiously optimistic is my middle name. But I'm not that optimistic. I'm cautious, but I'm definitely not optimistic this week. So,
yeah.
so
I mean, we have gone from a time just because of the quality of play of the Dogs to being optimistic enough that we can hold ourselves together long enough to make it into the 12-team playoff to now going, we might not win two of our last three games. That's what this performance did. And I don't want to throw the towel in completely. I don't want to be that
yeah,
person. Neither does Colin. But
no,
I mean, everything that happened this past week, literally, if we said it, Sean said it when he was on with us. If XYZ doesn't happen, or maybe he didn't, maybe he was just pushing us to ask questions. But if this doesn't get fixed, if this doesn't get fixed, if this doesn't get fixed, somebody's going to get Georgia. Now we're in a position where all of the weaknesses, and that might not be all of them, have been exposed. And we know Heupel's ready.
well, yeah.
Heupel's not a guy to come out and make those kind of statements like the Lane Kiffin style statements. Heupel's just going to look and
You
watch
hear what
and
he
take
said?
notes. What did he say?
Somebody asked me about the Georgia Tennessee game coming up. What do you do differently with you have these kind of high important games? He said every game every week is important, and that's what he did. That's basically what I mean. Like I'm paraphrasing it. Obviously, he said a lot more, but I mean he didn't put it as like this is circled on our calendar and that kind of stuff. He just made it seem like it was another week, and you know I mean I don't know, dude. I mean, like it's just one of them things. Well, if we can back into the playoffs, that'd be great. But I mean, it is kind of interesting and kind of fun to watch. How many SEC teams have more like at least 1 to 2 losses that you wouldn't have seen had the East and West conferences been eradicated. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
I'm going to disagree with you there. I think we've always had more than one two loss, more than our share of two lost teams.
I'm talking
It's
about this
just
almost all in the SEC. I mean, like people that
yeah,
normally don't play each other.
It's
I'm
just
sorry.
that you've had this division here and this division here, and you could have two losses as long as they were either one it was a one conference loss and maybe a cross divisional loss.
Yeah,
And then okay, so yeah, you lost to LSU, but they're not in your division, so you're still the best in the East, and you're still going to play the best in the West, which is LSU, and then you beat them, and then you win the conference championship, and you go on to the CFP.
right.
But this is insane. I mean, this is the first season in a long time I recall an SEC team making it into week 12 and having at least one loss, and most of the conference having at least two. It's crazy. People are already saying this is why we need to go back to the East and the West, and even our guy Uncle Lou said it. This is why we need to go back to East and the West because it's going to wind up happening. You have a bunch of two lost teams, a bunch of one loss, bunch of two lost teams. You're going to wind up eliminating yourself from consideration for the 12-team playoff.
So we've got 5 SEC teams in the 12 teams right now.
Yeah, I see. I
Yeah.
see they kept Georgia in the range of the top 12, but
Ole Miss is 10, so
all it's going to take, I'm telling you, that one loss, if we lose to Tennessee or we lose to Georgia Tech,
yep,
we're falling out.
that's right. I agree. I agree. I agree, my friend. All right, dude. Enough the ho hum. Pity party.
Yeah. I mean, let's not get it twisted. We still going to yell "Go Dogs" from the top of our lungs. We still
That's
going to
right.
bark at our TVs. We're still going to have shirts that say "Gatta" and "Sick 'em." But right now, this is the reality of where the team is, and until it happens, Sean, I'll tell you what. There's so many things that have to. That meme of the guy with the 8 million pieces of string trying to put his theory together. That is what Georgia would need to happen. Georgia would literally need to win out, and every other team that is ahead of us would have to lose. That
I have
means
some help. Yeah, we can't
except
just win.
except
We can win.
Texas would have to lose. even though we have a tiebreaker with them. A&M would have to lose at least 2 of their remaining 3, and Tennessee would have to lose. Tennessee would have to lose because we're like 4th or 5th in the SEC right now, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So, at any rate, that's going to do it for us today, y'all. We appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully, we will have some good news to talk about. At least I got to see Marlon Wayans with the misses, and that was great. That's it. Y'all be good. I just saw I went into buffering mode. That's it. Unless you got anything else, my guy, that's gonna do it for us today, man. You got anything else?
No, sir. I'm good. I'm good to go. I've done all my grievances. I think I'm good to go.
All right, brother. Well, you be good. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all be good. We'll see you next week. And until then, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.